Well, the expansion of irrigation schemes within the country has been the main focus of the Kenya Kwanza administration, especially through the State Department of Irrigation, with the government targeting to ensure that the 700,000 acres that is currently under irrigation is expanded to 1.2 million by 2027 and at least by estimate 1.8 million acres by the year 2032. And who better to tell us about what is happening in the irrigation system of the country with this realization spearheaded by none other than the State Department of Irrigation. Joining us is none other than the Principal Secretary, State Department for Irrigation, CPA Ephantus Kamotho. Thank you so much, PS, for joining us.
Yeah, thank you so much. I'm happy to be here.
Thank you so much, PS. And maybe we start on that, PS. What will this expansion entail?
When this current administration started, we had a baseline in terms of irrigation, which was 664,000. To date, 2 years down the line, we've been able to add an additional 69,000 acres under irrigation, and also most of it, actually 100% of it, is actually under production. And that now has taken us, just as you said, that has taken us now to 733,000 acres. Our plan, when the current administration started, the plan was to increase the area under irrigation up to 1.2 million. So towards that journey, we are left with 467,000 acres. And in that, in the next 3 years, we are confident that we'll be able to actualize that. I say this confidently because one of the projects that we are currently undertaking is the Galana Irrigation Project. Galana Irrigation Project currently, in the next 1 month, we are having a private party who will be starting production on 20,000 acres. That will be enabled by the normal river flow. But immediately after that, we also starting to construct the Galana Dam, which has a capacity of 350 million cubic. That will enable us add the additional acreage of 180,000 to make it 200,000 acres. Then also that is in Kilifi and Tana River County. And still in Tana River County, we also have another big project called Bura Irrigation Scheme. That's where we used to have the old Bura Irrigation Scheme, which currently is 12,000 acres, is what is under irrigation infrastructure.
Now, given that you have elaborated the road to the 1.8 million acres by the year 2032, I'm sure the question of investment is very key, given that you're a CPA as well. You can tell us, in terms of investment between the national and the county government, are we going to like to see donors coming in to help in that particular expansion? And also, what are some of these technologies you'll be implementing on the ground to make this successful?
So that whole plan, the whole plan has an estimated, in terms of just the infrastructure alone, the whole plan has an estimated of 1 trillion Kenya shillings. But our current budget per year is around 20 billion per year. So in a plan of to give it 10 years, or maybe let's say now 8 years, because what 8 years is what is basically remaining up to 2032 based on that plan. It means if we are to continue getting the same from GOK and development partner, GOK you normally get around 10 and development partners another 10. So that will give you approximately 20. So 20 times 8, that will be talking about 160 billion. So you can say straight away there is a deficit of around 840. Even if you are to increase the government funding and also the development partners funding, probably you'll find yourself maybe at around 700, at around 30%. So GOK and development partners probably will cover 30% of our plan. So 70% of our plan, we are mainly focusing on raising money, catalyzing money from the private capital. From private capital, that is through PPP. Like for us to be able to do the area and irrigation up to the levels I've talked about, one of the examples is Galana. Galana, we are working with the dam itself will cost us at 5 billion. So we are working on a private party who will do the dam, then he'll pay himself through the tariffs. And the tariffs, you're also getting another commercial partner who will come in, put the irrigation infrastructure and do production, and in the process pay for the tariff. Then the tariff will pay the person for the dam. So that's why we're working with the PPP partners, both for production and doing the infrastructure. That's a model we're also using in a place like a High Grand Fall, whereby we also intend to do that. We plan to complete that by 2032. Whereby we also intend to put 400,000 acres under irrigation in the second phase. The second phase of our plan, but what will have been done by 2032 is approximately 120. Then the rest probably will now come after that. But the dam will be complete. Again, there also, that dam, it's a so component because also it's going to be a dam. It's a multi-purpose dam, which also has energy component. We'll be producing power as well, 1,000 megawatts per hour. So again, like that one has the total cost is coming to $2.5 billion. So again, that also is being funded through PPP. Then also, we are also focusing on also climate financing. So we intend to also raise a green bond through climate financing, and we also doing what we call climate mitigation. We are doing a carbon project and climate mitigation because the rice methane mostly has a lot of carbon. So by so doing, we are trying to put some mechanisms on reduction of rice methane, and in there's an opportunity for us to make a little bit of money from carbon credits. So those are the key areas that we're looking at as enhancing PPP and also climate financing. That's what we're looking at now to help us balance the 70%. But also we are working closely with the counties, because some of this irrigation infrastructure, most of the counties, we're asking them to also form the county irrigation development units. And those development units, that's where we'll have the extension officers based. So from county perspective, we are looking at them helping us on the service part of it. Because for us irrigation, we are developing the infrastructure, the water resource. Then once we've developed the water resource now, especially where you have the smallholder irrigation schemes, then we are looking at the county to come in and bring the extension services. Then as irrigation, will also be doing the water management. So that's how the county would come in towards the end of on the part of production, which is also very key towards making sure, because see, our mandate is 3. We normally have 3 mandates. One is water storage, because first of all, we store water, but we store water for what? Water for irrigation. Then that's when now the issue of irrigation infrastructure comes in. After irrigation infrastructure, then the next focus is production. So on the production, that's where we start partnering with the counties, because they bring the extension officers, and of course, agriculture is devolved. So that's why we start now those collaborations. And also at that time, we also plug in operators who now help us in maintaining the water efficiency of the infrastructure. Then we also plug in aggregators. Those are now private players, how they also come in. Aggregators, these are the people who come and work with the cooperatives to aggregate the products so that they can get the right market. Then they also help farmers in setting up demonstration farms, so that farmers can know exactly, so that farmers can actually produce a product which is market driven. Most of our irrigation schemes now, we are changing them to be market driven instead of just producing for the local consumption. And that way now they'll be sustainable and they'll have a lot of ownership.
Yes. And PS, what can you do to attract many youth? Because with this expansion, I'm sure you not only require experts in the field, the farmers, but it will create job opportunities, especially for the youth who are currently unemployed. So what will your ministry be doing to ensure at least these youths are attracted to agriculture, given that the government is investing heavily when it comes to agricultural matters?
Okay, so one, you realize that especially in the smallholder, where we have the smallholder, where we do irrigation infrastructure, and the smallholder whereby people are having 1 acre, 2 acres, you find most of the time that land is owned by the old people. So what you're doing, you're coming up with a framework of leasing, so that now the owner of the land can lease the land to the young people. Then we're also training the young people on how they can do business on that. They know what we're calling agribusiness. You realize that the young people, yes, some of them, they may be good in farming. Like irrigation, irrigation is also enjoyable. The way it is a new technology in a way, using the new technology. It's not just the old way of doing things. Then that by itself is attracting the youth. Then again, when you talk about the value add, if you're going to process, like when you go down to that element of value addition processing, then the youth are also very attracted in that part. Then also in extension services, which nowadays we also, even the method you're using for agriculture, like now in some of the areas we are using mechanized agriculture. In mechanized agriculture, you find now that also requires some knowledge, and that's where the youth come in. And the mechanized, whereby you are trying to do precision farming, whereby to increase the yield and at the same time minimize the amount of input. That way now makes more profit. So those are the areas where you're doing capacity building and to the youth, and there'll be very many opportunities for them. So both at the production level, when they lease the land from the old people, then again when we at the mechanization, because this mechanization again will be driven by knowledge. So and the youth, some of them already have that knowledge. Then again now on the value addition. Value addition again will create very many opportunities. And also on the aggregation, as I talked about earlier, that aggregation part, again, we will need those youths to come and aggregate. There'll be the ones running the aggregation centers. We'll also be setting up aggregation centers with the private parties. We'll also be setting up warehousing, which will also again be that's another component that those are now like new issues we are adding to that whole value chain. So I can say the youth there, they'll plug in almost in every bit of the basically now will not just be produced, we'll be having a whole value chain. So that whole value chain will be able to plug the youth in each and every of those parts. And we're also working, we're not just working under isolation, we're also working closely with the Ministry of Agriculture, because they're the ones bestowed with the issue of the crop, and the crop variety, We're also working closely with the trade department because of the markets, because again, without markets, then it may be challenging for our farmers even to get to produce or get motivated to produce. So again, we're working very closely with the trade department, which are helping us in aggregation. Some of these aggregators are the ones who make sure even they get export market. So we also take advantage of the various agreements which have been signed by the Ministry of Trade. So, and also they're the ones also in charge of the warehousing, which is currently they have their housing receipting, which has been introduced, which is a good model whereby once the farmers take their products there, they can get their money almost instantly, as the owner of their house is left now getting the market. So those are some of the interventions that you're also working closely with the SME, State Department of SME, who are also going to be giving farmers some little seed capital, or those who don't have enough sufficient funds for starting off the irrigation. So it's a whole value chain, and this will be a game changer for the country.
Thank you, PS. Just in 30 seconds, just take a look at that camera. Talk to the farmers who will be watching you and, of course, who are currently watching you right now in terms of what you'll be doing in those irrigation schemes. What assurances can you give the farmers and the country at large? Yeah,
for the farmers who are with us today, I want to assure them that currently in irrigation, we have two things that we are doing. One, we are changing all the pump-fed irrigation schemes which were using diesel to gravity, and the ones which we are not able to change to gravity, we are changing them to solar. What that will mean to the farmer is that there's going to be a big reduction of the cost of operation and maintenance, and those proceeds will go back to the farmer to be able to buy more inputs and be able to increase his production. So we are looking to exciting times for the farmer. Then we also working closely with aggregators so that we can make sure the aggregators come with the extension officers and prescribe to the farmer what the market needs, so that the farmers can produce for the market instead of farmers producing just for consumption. We want a situation whereby farmer can produce and make money from it and get their own food, but also have a surplus. That's the plan that we are working. Then we're also working with the extension officers to help the farmers come with a good cropping pattern, which will ensure maximum yield in their small pieces of land. Also, we are looking. We'll also be doing a capacity building effort to ensure water efficiency, because as you know, the country we are a water scarce country. So this how we utilize our water. If we utilize it efficiently for production, then we'll be more sustainable. Thank you.
Thank you so much, PS. So that is the PS State Department for Irrigation CPA Fantas Kimotho just telling us the road towards 1.8 million of irrigation acres by the year 2032, what the government intends to do in partnership with the county government as well as key partners in the country. And of course, that is what the government has been able to line up in terms of ensuring we are food secure and resilient even as we go through climate change. And of course, all that will be included in what the Principal Secretary just highlighted in terms of the irrigation schemes that are set to benefit not just farmers but the country at large. My name is Abdiaziz Hashim from Marsabit County.